Donald Trump just left a graduating class totally embarrassed and uncomfortable. Who'd have guessed? Talk about painting a depressing picture for a generation about to enter the world. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. A caveat before we begin this report. Don't hate the messenger. What you are about to see is bizarre, infuriating, condescending, and might give you a nasty case of stupid, if not tertiary syphilis. If you know, you know. Donald Trump is on a tear today. After firing Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor before appointing him as ambassador to the United Nations, Trump appeared at the National Day of Prayer at the White House. Why a secular nation has a day of prayer is beyond me. Anyway, at the ceremony, he dropped these rotten eggs.
Very, very special day coming up. You know, we have a lot of them during this term. And interestingly, I had none of them had I not had a rigged election. Had the election not been rigged, I would have been out of here. I would have been gone. The radical left would have said, we got rid of him finally. But no, now they have me for another 4 years. We talk about that. And in the other 68, and this is a religious ceremony to me, but that's part of the religion. Because if your taxes go up 68%, you might give up your religion. You might have no choice. You'll be working too hard to try and make it. And that's the Democrats. That's what they'll give you. They'll vote against it. It's not even believable. It's called Trump derangement syndrome because, honestly, everything in there is good for Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else.
Yes, in Donald Trump's America, even rotten eggs have not come down in price. They are costing us our national dignity right now. Wait until you see the weirdness Trump throws out to the graduates. Stay with us. And seriously, how does anyone at this point, regardless of where he falls on the political spectrum, think Donald Trump is a paragon of morality at this point? Anyway, after that shameful mockery of a religious ceremony this morning, not to mention the bizarre remarks made by the liar-in-chief, Trump stopped off in Tuscaloosa, Alabama to give a commencement speech at the University of Alabama, where he received this reception.
Well, good evening to you, Georgia. As you mentioned, I am at Hinton Park here in Tuscaloosa, and just behind me, as you can see, there is the protest and peaceful rally still occurring. Now, earlier today, I had a chance to speak with Keandra Cox. He is the president for the West Alabama Young Democrats, and he told me how today's rally was about voicing their concerns about President Trump coming to speak at commencement. Now, he says students and locals have all had disapproval of President Trump's visit, and he also says that this protest is for them to have the opportunity to not be silenced, and they will continue to voice their opposition.
All the protest people just want to use our First Amendment just to speak out and to send a clear message. And the message that we want to send is that he is not the person that represents the values to be speaking at a commencement ceremony for anybody.
It still seems too polite a reception for the man. I have a feeling many who actually attended the graduation ceremony itself would rather have gone to the protest, especially if they'd known the drivel Trump was about to vomit on all of them. Watch this.
Had to see where the enemy lies because they're already looking to impeach Trump. You know, these crazy people. Let's impeach him. For what? We don't know exactly, but we'll try it. These people are crazy. So we had to, get our bearings for the first couple of weeks. So in 2 months, we had over $8 trillion, think of it, committed. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. There's never been anything like it in any country at any time, and it's all because they want to avoid the tariffs. We want to get here fast. And I said, a number of times, tariff is the most beautiful word in the world, and I got absolutely decimated by the fake news. They said, what about love? What about your wife? What about your parents? What about religion and God? So I said, all right, it's the 5th nicest word I've ever seen. And since I've done that, I've been in good shape. Nobody's bothered me. They've been very nice. You've seen it, hundreds of thousands of people pouring into our country from prisons, from mental institutions, from gangs, and all over the world, not just in South America. You'd see hundreds of thousands of people pour across in one day. You know what we had just recently? Three. And we slashed the number of illegal aliens released into the United States by 99.999%. And you know, if that number is wrong, the fake news, which is all over the place today, is going to be correcting me before I get to the next sentence. Now, 99.999%, how about that? Nobody thought that was possible. They said you needed legislation. No, you just needed a new president. That's what you needed. But despite the tremendous success, as you've been reading, the courts are trying to stop me from doing the job that I was elected to do. We won by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states, 7 out of 7. We won 312 electoral college votes. They said, 270 would be great. We won 312 and 2,750 counties versus 525 counties throughout the nation. That's why when you look at a map, it's all red. It's all red. Every inch of it is red, a little couple of blue dots. But they have to let us do the job that the voters want us to do. Judges are interfering, supposedly based on due process, but how can you give due process to people who came into our country illegally? They want to give them due process. I don't know.
Okay. Can anyone please explain to me what on earth that man was trying to even say? It's like he's lost in some gallery that only shows nude pictures of himself, and he just salivates at all of them, everything he sees. It's like some stream of narcissistic lust. Apologies for the imagery. Look, this is just another in an ever-growing list of ever more tedious examples of Trump's decaying mental state and his obvious self-obsession. Other presidents have given commencement speeches before. I remember when George W. Bush did the same thing during his presidency and spoke mostly about the war on terror. But at least that dunce could string together a coherent sentence, and at least he tried to offer some inspiration for the graduates. That is the reason everyone's there. Here, Trump only wants to talk about himself. It might be the most depressing commencement speech ever. If I was sitting there in my cap and gown, I'd seriously think about choking up my tassel. Who wants to live in a country where this buffoon is in charge? Anyhow, you know how at the beginning of this report I said not to hate the messenger? After seeing Trump's message, on second thought, there is one messenger you have every right to hate. This is Occupy Democrats.